right? Uh, I don't have the quote, but I think they rated it as the #1 tool, particularly in terms of ease of use and flexibility. Right? Gartner agency, when they studied around 40 or 50 such BI tools, they gave the rating of Tableau being one of the #1 tools. Right? So if you look at the desktop version, right, which we'll be very soon looking at, see, this is how it looked like. If you open SPSS, do you remember SPSS? Rows, you have columns, data view, right? You're used to it, right? Now get used to this now, because this is where we'll have to work, right? If you open Tableau, you'll just get this kind of an image. Not immediately. Even before this, you have a couple of steps, but this is the place wherein you'll be using your Tableau. This is the first impression. Like just as you have data view in SPSS, this is your view wherein you'll be doing all your dashboards, charts, wherein you'll be constructing all your charts and such things. There are a lot of things here like dimensions, measures. I'll explain all these things when we get to the tool. Okay. So with SPSS, what kind of a tool was it? What kind of a tool? Yeah, for analysis, yes, for statistical analysis, but it was menu driven, isn't it? You went to analyze menu, clicked on something, descriptives, you got the output. Here it is not menu driven. Yes, you have the option of menu also, but mainly we say this is a drag and drop technology. Just drag variables, drop it. That's it. Nothing else. Just 2 fingers and a bit of common sense, you'd be the boss here, right? You don't need to have any background in mathematics, statistics, nothing here. Very, very simple. Even if you have an allergy towards mathematics and statistics, this will still help you get wonderful, attractive charts and systems. Right? Some of the charts and such things, right? Particularly, this would be very exciting because this is what we call as geospatial map. Geospatial map, which means basically related to geography, space, and such things, right? Now, if I want to find out a presence of gold and such things, gold is not distributed equally everywhere, right? If you go to Kolar or some such place, you will have mines, right? So, where exactly is the presence of minerals, ores, and such things to a high extent in the entire land mass? That you can depict or show through visualization. Like these are called as geospatial maps. This is like something like a dual axis, right? Simple pie chart. This we all know. Something like a heat map, right? You remember first time did we construct a heat map correlation the first day? Yeah, those sort of graphs you can construct. Some of the differences, right? Features of Tableau desktop versus server. I said public, that is one option, but you have desktop as well as server. I think a lot of things that you can do with desktop, flat files, data, you can connect to databases, perform joins and bends. You understand what do you mean by joins? See, if you, maybe in your field, you may not actually come across this, but if you are actually doing sales or retail kind of data, see, that is transaction level data, right? Every minute transaction could be made. You can't store the data in the form of Excel and such things there. You will not be storing the data in the form of Excel. How will you store the data? It will be in the form of a database. And each database may have 20-30 tables. One table may have your demographic details. Second table may have your account details. So if I want account as well as demographic details, what should I do? I should join the 2 tables. Are you able to understand? So there are many companies when to do just the joining thing, they'll have to take a written approval saying that I'm joining this table, and it'll go to 2.5 to 3 days wherein they just join the required columns. That's it. Right? So those sort of joins can be done. Create insightful analysis. Okay, fine. Requires purchase of a license. Right? Maybe these figures are outdated. The price may have changed now. Right? So initially it was around $1,500 for the first year. For the second year onwards, it will be reduced. Right? Just the maintenance cost is what you need to pay. Right? These may be slightly outdated because they keep changing their prices. Right? So server, why do you use server? Mainly to control the access, right? you can say, right, whatever you do in the desktop will be for your local machine. If I want to share the results, and that is the main utility of these dashboarding tools, I'll have to see, I am constructing all the graphs, but who is the end user? I am not the end user, right? It's like a person who's an excellent chef. In the restaurant, he's the one who's doing the cooking part, but he's not eating it himself. He has to serve it to somebody else, correct? So when you are talking about server, right, do you want to serve your dish to everybody? No, you want to control it or regulate it only to a few people. So if you want to provide that kind of security and controls and such things, server would be a better option for you. Is this okay? Make sense? I think we've discussed this. Some of the customers who use Tableau, you can see a lot of people use Tableau here, right? A lot of people use Tableau. It could be World Bank, it could be Boeing, it could be Google, AOL, Bank of America, a lot of bank names from the banking sector, HP. You can see a list of names who use Tableau, right? So we are learning what a lot of people are already doing. In Dubai, as I said, right, many in the Middle East, they actually prefer Tableau, right? Middle East, if you get an opportunity, a lot of Tableau and such things get used, right? In terms of ranking, right? So there were 13 capabilities, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 13 such capabilities, right? So Tableau has been ranked. You can see wherever for reporting, it has been ranked as number 1. For dashboard facility, again, it has been ranked as number 1. For a development environment, number 2. Can you create your own newer and newer algorithms, right? It may not be that good. Search-based BI, if you are using this to search something, right, is ranked 4. The BI platform infrastructure 5, right? Predictive modeling and data mining, like SPSS, this is not a predictive modeling tool. I'm not claiming that this is good for predictive analysis, but you can solve that problem also. You know how? R, you know, there's a software called as R. You can integrate R and Tableau, right? On the outside, you'll just be seeing the Tableau output, but on the inside, R engine will be working. So if you're a Tableau user, a few R codes here and there, you can just execute at the back end. At the front end, you'll still get the output. People can do it if you want to. There are features and options, but yeah, I would not say that this is a tool, number 1 tool for data mining and such things. For data mining and such things, please, this should not be your go-to tool. This should not be your first tool, right? For data mining, statistical analysis, SPSS and such things are there. Are you clear with this? Do you recognize what kind of a chart is this? It's just a quadrant analysis, right? You're able to understand. It's just your quadrant analysis. There are, you said scatter? Actually, it is scatter. We've just modified it and we're just giving it. So we're perfect. So ease of use and composite product score. These are the 2 scores that I'm plotting, right? Y-axis and x-axis, you're already familiar, right? So why do I call this as a quadrant analysis? Quadra, which means 4 portions, right? Can you see this box here? The first portion, this is the second portion, this is the third portion, and this is the 4th portion, right? What does this mean? If anybody belongs to the first portion or first area, which means he is high on composite product score as well as ease of use, right? It's your best performing employees, something like that. Right, you can connect it to your story. I may be using different language here, right? So all the best performing employees are here, right? But if you look at this side, this is the second quadrant, right? What can you say about this? See, on the x-axis, they have scored high, which means when it comes to composite product score, they're still high. No, they're low. If you go to the extreme right side, it will be high, right? This is still low. On the y-axis, ease of use, not that easy to use. So you see all these Oracle, ArcPlan, Corda, Target and whatever, right? All these things are not that good when it comes to what? Yeah, right? What about this? This is a dangerous sign because they're low on both. Are you able to understand? This is high on both x-axis and y-axis. This is high on y-axis but low on x-axis. This is low on both, right? You can say that low aptitude, low performing employees, right? High aptitude, high performing employees, reward them. This is what? It depends on what you have taken on the x-axis. It could be high performing but no leadership skills. What about this? High on the x-axis but low on the y-axis. So you can just bifurcate, you can cluster people into 4 groups and make a decision. Right? Very simple, but people can make lovely decisions based on this. This is called as quadrant analysis. Am I making sense? Yes? Karan? Making sense, sir? Making sense? Priyanka? Just a general slide, don't have to worry about this. You can, I'm just saying that this is your Tableau desktop, right? Your source data could be any of these things. It could be a flat file or any of these things. You can easily connect. You can distribute it and export it as a PDF. You can print it. You can cross-tab to Excel. You can dump the final output from Tableau to Excel. It is free, offline. These are all basic information which I'm saying. You can also send this to server. You can send this to public. Right? So from this session, right, if you can just pick up 3 sentences, that it's a very powerful. See, I don't know if in your LMS I've sent an Excel sheet, right? There are around 10 to 15 different options there, right? If you can just click on the link, you will be able to access the video and you have wonderful tutorials, right? So even if I've missed out something or if I'm not clear on a particular point, you can just visit the website video. I'll give you a lot of insightful information, right? In the LMS, I've shared it with Sheenu. She would have put it up in the LMS. I think you should be able to see this screen, correct? Are you all seeing this screen? Right? If you're able to see this screen, it means that basically you've installed Tableau, right? You've installed Tableau, right? The first, you can see this to the left side, right? If your source file is Excel, you can just click on this option. If your source file is text, you can click on this. If it's an Access file, you can click on this. JSON file is fine. Spatial file, any of these things you can just click on, right? If you actually look at the Tableau server, right, you can see a whole lot of options here, around 10, 15 options here. You can see 10, 15 options here, but it's by using your drivers, you can connect to other databases as well. But here, this is what we have, right? Now, what should you do? See, the file that we will be working, and I request you to bear with me for the next 1 hour, right? Please forget that you're in HR, right? Because the data set that I will be showing and working on will not be on HR. But it's important for me to slightly bring in other perspective because all the features which I would like to show you is not supported by just HR data, right? And from that perspective, profound apologies. For just 1 hour, we'll just work on a different data set, but the principles will still be applicable to your HR data, right? So after this 1 hour, the next 1 hour, you can just pull up your own data, HR data, and replicate whatever we have done, right? If I just pick up HR data set, 2 categories there, 3 categories here, it will not be that meaningful, and therefore I'm not using HR data, right? So I want to bring in an Excel file, import an Excel file. So please choose Excel here. Please choose Excel. Where is it taking you? See, it is just, there is an inbuilt file here. It is, you can just navigate to this path, C drive users, C drive users. Mithun.dj. So in your case, it will obviously be your name, right? Documents, my Tableau repository. No Tableau repository is there, my Tableau repository. You have anything called as my Tableau repository? C drive. uses C drive uses Mithun.dj documents my Tableau repository. You're able to access it? So what's the path? If you could just share it with everybody.
Same. Only thing is it's documents, cluster 2 documents.
Cluster 2 documents. Okay. Okay, so see, look at the third folder here. In my case, it's Mithun.dj. In her case, it is cluster 2. So if you can just see, after users, there could be a folder called as cluster or something. Okay, documents. Let's go to my Tableau repository. Within this Tableau repository, workbooks. No. Okay, just one second. My Tableau repository. Data sources. You have data sources? Okay. If you're able to identify Tableau repository, go to data sources. The version is 10.3. Right? My version is 10.3. I think yours may be slightly different. 10.3? The first place where you went actually? Where is library here? Okay, library, okay. And then you're saying user would be?
Users is here. It is in user. You can click here, C drive, you go up.
What is this? C driver?
Go down.
Okay.
C drive here.
Okay.
Users.
C drive users. Section. In section.
Documents.
You can do one thing. I've shared this file. It must be in your LMS as well. Yesterday, Sheenu must have kept it in. Right? So this file which we are using. Yeah. No, but beyond that, there's nothing actually. That's the problem. Right. So. Actually, within this data source, you'll have something called as 10.3. The version will be there. And after that, you'll have the file. But that's okay. If you don't have it, you don't have it. Okay. Did you find it? Did you find it? No, in your case, you can access from there only, right? Data source. So I think said yesterday, she would have shared. You have it? Here. Yeah, that's what. There's another way of getting the data set. So I sent it to Sheenu yesterday. In that folder itself.
It is not in the server.
No. Just type this thing, super store you type, sample you type first. Let's see if it's there in there. Sample superstore. You're able to access everybody, right? So please open this. Just click on open. Are you able to get this window, everybody? See, I'm just telling you the other part of it as well, because tomorrow, if you are using Tableau server or something, it will not be the same thing. You'll see two options here. One is live environment, the other one is external. You'll see two options, but those options you're not seeing here. I'm telling you the differences, right? Live environment, if you use live connection, as and when the data gets updated, it will be reflected here. It's on a real-time basis. Particularly, it is used when when you have a new product which is launched. If there's a new product which is launched, and you want to monitor the sales hour on hour, right? Because you don't know whether this product will be a hit or whether it will be a flop. If it is going to do really, really well, you need to have buffer stock, constant supply, so that the end user will be able to look at the dashboards that you create and take a decision. If it is not doing that well at all, what will you do? You will show red signal. No, stop it, there's no point, right? So if that is the option, you can choose live connection here. It is not there in this option, right? Now, for us, what we can do is, see, these are the tables that are present. These are the sheets that are present within that sample superstore, correct? Do you see this option? This is the data, this is the data, this is the data, this is the data, right? What you can do is, do you see this option? It's saying drag sheets here, right? So take this order, drag it and drop it here. Orders table, right? Please drag it and drop it here. Make sense? Are you able to see the view the data here? Let's study the columns here. Row ID is there, order ID is there, order date is there, ship date, ship mode, customer ID, customer name, segment, country, so on and so forth. It is like that. Am I right? If you scroll to the right side, if you can just scroll to the right side, right? You have state, city, country, category, subcategory, product name, sales, quantity, discount, profit. All these variables are there, right? So this is the data set, right? First impression, right? Simple sales data set is what we have. One thing that I want you to understand is that if they put a hash symbol here, right? It's like a numeric. If they put ABC, it means that it is reading it as string, right? You have date here, date is fine. Okay. Right? Now, so far we are clear with this. Are you getting this option go to worksheet here? See, it's like just like Excel itself, when you open, right, you have multiple sheets, right? The same way we will have to create sheets here. The same way we'll have to create sheets here. You can click on sheet 1. Please click on sheet 1. Right? Are you getting this, everybody? Are you getting this? Do you remember in the PowerPoint presentation also we had this slide, right? See here, see if you can understand this, this is where you'll be actually building your workbook. It's called as a workbook, correct? You see two prominent portions here. In fact, you see multiple portions, but to the left-hand side, I'm just drawing your attention. One, and this is the second portion, correct? Left-hand side, whatever you see is called as dimension. Top right-hand, left-hand side corner is dimension. Simply put, what's the dimension basically? A dimension is a variable, all those variables which have categories in them, groups, like region, right? It has mainly string values. String, you understand, right? Bangalore, that sort of a thing, right? Like category, country, order date, order ID, product name, all this is nothing but your what? Dimensions. So any variable which is like string or which has words involved, that will come here. Measurement, right? See, all this should be hash, because just now we learned that hash is nothing but a continuous variable. Here, in measurement column, we can have continuous data. Are we clear with this? Fine. Latitude, longitude, right? It has a strange symbol because it is reading it as geographical information. Like, for example, Bangalore, if you go to Google and type Bangalore, it has certain latitude and longitude, right? There are variables here, so that's what it is reading as correct? Now, these two portions are clear to you. These are the variables in my data set, correct? Here, if you see here, you see this big portion, correct? This is the portion, or this is the place wherein we'll be constructing our graphs, right? Do you see this column and row? It is called a shelf, right? Row shelf and column shelf. You have to just drag and drop these two columns and rows. That's what we need to do. Correct? Do you understand what we're talking about? Right? Here you can see filters. You can see marks. These are called as cards. Right? Marks, cards. Right? Color, as the name itself suggests, you can change the color. Right? Size, you can change the size of the bar. Increase it, decrease it. Text is the text layout. How is it presented? Detail mainly comes into picture for your geospatial and such things. Tooltip is, if you bring the cursor towards any number, it'll just explain it by itself. If you have too many categories and you don't know which column, which value and such things, just hover the cursor, move the cursor there. The Tableau itself is smart enough to interpret it. Are you clear with this? Also, you have a small but a very useful option called a show me, right? That show me has a list of charts there, right? So far, I've not yet clicked on it, but if you click on it, it'll show you all the graphs which are appropriate or relevant for your data analysis. Are we clear with this? Right? So let's just try to do a few things. Now, first the sheet one. Do you see the sheet one? Let me just right click and I'll type rename sheet, right? You can just give it your own name. You can just say sales by region, right? Make sense? Now, do you see a very important variable here, which is called as sales, right? In the measures list. You see this variable sales here? Drag this and drop it to rows. Drag this and drop it to rows. Which one? It does not actually matter. They're interchangeable. If you say, let's say by mistake, let's say I've dragged it to columns. It'll just come like this. Instead of vertically, this will be like column. He says if you bring the, if you have any kind of confusion as to what to draw, just bring the cursor there. If I'm pointing the cursor here, it says what? Drag dimensions or measures here or double click to start a new calculation. So both dimensions as well as your measures are applicable here. There's no strict rule saying that dimension should strictly always go to columns. It's all upon us. How are we looking? How do we want to look at it? Right? Are you clear with this? Right? So, next one, I have a variable here. I've used one measure, right? Let me choose a meaningful variable for dimensions. I've got country. Shall I choose category? Shall I choose category here? Make sense? All right. So how do you see column means height, correct? 1, 2, 3, right? So this particular column has 3 groups: furniture, office, supplies, and technology. Right? And obviously you can see 700,000 is slightly short of 700,000. The longer the bar, higher the value, right? This technology is exceeding 800K. Make sense? Right? Now, what you can do is just click on show me. Show me option. Just on the top right hand side corner. Option called as show me, right? So do you see these graphs here? Do you see these charts? Correct? So whichever is highlighted, it means that that particular chart is applicable for your analysis. Some are not highlighted, correct? Some may not be highlighted, which means that it is not applicable with this current setting. Right? So if you're not very sure as to how to visually present your data, you have to come here and choose, right? Let's choose this horizontal bar chart. Right? To get this. Now what you can do is, you can also label this, correct? Right? See, at any stage, if you feel that you made a mistake by choosing any of these things, please go back. You'll get, look at this. This is a very useful option, particularly when you're doing, right? If you made any setting which you don't like, just use this back button. I think that should help you a lot, right? This label option is very, very important here. Do you see this option, label card? Can you see this label card? Just click on this label card. You can say, show mark labels here. Right? Show mark labels, correct? Marks to label off. If you want to say, see, if you say all, it will get selected for everything, correct? If you say only select, if you select a particular column and say only that one, it will be, the changes will be shown only on that. Makes sense, right? And we also have this option called as cards here, correct? Sorry, colors. Just click on this, right? And just change the color of this in case you want. Right? One thing that you could do is, you have a variable called as region here, right? Do you have a variable called as region? You can actually bring it to color and drag it and drop it to color, right? So region wise, if you want to show your sales and systems, right? The same thing region wise, if you want to show attrition, region wise, you want to show your compensation, average compensation, could be any of these things. You can see by looking at the length of the bar, you can decide which one is what, right? You can just see, right? So for which particular team, I'm just giving in your language, for which particular team, the proportion of attrition is the highest. Make sense? One thing that you could do is, see, I have sum here, correct? I have sum here, right? Why should it be sum? If you can just click on the drop down menu, please click on the drop down menu. Do you see this option measure? By default, it will just give you the sum, correct? But sometimes I may not be interested in sum, I may be interested in the average. So you just click on the option average, right? Or you can choose the option median. Or you can choose the option minimum or maximum or standard deviation or percentile, any of these things, right? Right? Can you just try quickly with average? Make sense? Right? One other option that you might not, might spoil a graph, but nevertheless, let's just try this. You can just go to analyze, right? And you can just interchange the role of rows and columns. Analyze, swap rows and columns. Does it look any better? All right. So right. So if you just want the, if you're saying I don't need all this visualization, just give me the sort of tabular representation. Just look at this number format. Please click on this. Just only the text format. Right? I don't need all these attractive visualizations and such things. It's just giving you category wise. Right? So as we go on adding more and more columns, you may lose track of what these numbers are, right? So just bring your cursor to any of these numbers. It says what, for which category, for which region, for what is the average value. Does it make sense? Right? One other thing that you can do here is, just around this place, right? Just next to the column name, if you can just click on this, you can sort it. Right here, if you want to sort it in either descending or ascending order, you could easily do it. Right? Now, see, I may not be interested in studying everything, right? So one thing that I could do is I can just drag and drop this region to filter, right? Have you dropped it to filter? Or better still, instead of this, you have this option which is called as segment. You can just use filter, correct? This is an option which you see. You might not want to study everybody, right? You might want to study only one group, right? So you can, I just drag this option segment and drop it to filter, right? If you choose all the option consumer, corporate, right? If you want all, you'll have to just click on everything here. Right? You can just say apply and OK. Right? But is it displaying? Here, can you see filters? Right? What you have to do is just click on this and show and choose the option show filter. So on the right hand side, you have created this option for your end user. So when you are preparing this chart and showing this to the end user, let's say he is not interested in these numbers for every segment, correct? So he may be at most interested for, let's say, consumer and corporate, right? So instead of everything, he'll just choose consumer and corporate. I don't need, let's say, home office. Or let's say I'm interested only in consumer. So these numbers are accordingly getting changed here. If you can see here. Are we clear with this? I hope it makes sense, right? Now, see, which is the variable that we have used here? Sales, correct? We have not used sales, so let me just, it has gone away. You see sales here? I've just dragged it and dropped it here, sales. Drag it and drop it there. Region wise it is giving you, right? If you want to study it for central, east, south and west separately, what is the distribution you could do this? Make sense? Right? Now this column sales here, right? Just right click here and choose default properties. Choose the option default properties and then number format. Default properties and number format, correct? I'm just changing the format here, correct? That's what I'm doing. Do you see this option currency? Right? See, some people want it to display 2 decimals, so you can leave it at 2. If you want 3 or 4, please feel free to change this. Right? Negative values, do you want the negative values, if any, to be shown within the bracket? That is being shown here. Units, right? See, observe, I have got in terms of 338 and such things, right? If I wanted to show in terms of millions, I can choose this option million. Right? Don't want to include 1000 separators. Do you want sales? Yes. Sorry. Please click on OK. Do you see the changes? Earlier we didn't have dollar, now it's showing dollars. I removed the comma, so comma is not getting displayed. Since I showed 4 digits, 1, 2, 3, 4. After the decimal, you're able to see 4 digits. And it's in terms of millions, what we're able to see. Are we clear with this? Right? Okay. Now, let's make a move on. Right? Let's just keep it as it is. We can click on the sheets here. Right? And we can say, this is one workbook which you have created. Just created one workbook, right? Now the second workbook, how do we create? Right? So for the second workbook, what you can do is just on sheet 2, right click and say rename sheet. Rename sheet. You can just say sales by category. Sales by category. Right? Now again, what you could do is just take this variable sales, drop it to rows. Or maybe columns also is fine. That's okay. The row part is empty, right? Do you see this option called as subcategory here? Right? That you can just drag and drop here. Right? Is this self-explanatory? Right? It's pretty self-explanatory, right? Yeah, you can do it. I'll show you that also. Right? You have this one thing here is that, see, you have got so many categories, right? You might want to club or group some of these, right? You might want to group these last 5. You might want to group them into one bucket. The remaining you can just call as others, right? So group by is a useful option, particularly when you're creating these visualizations and such things, right? So to group by, just use Control and select a few categories, right? I've selected from machines, correct? Machines, paper, phones, whatever. I've just selected them on the x-axis, y-axis rather. Can you right click on this? Please right click and choose group. Understood? Right? So it's like all these things have come into one clubbed, right? So it's particularly useful because the last categories will not be sparsely, will be very sparsely populated. Extreme cases, right? You'll not have big size. So what do? We tend to bucket it so that we at least get a big decent number. The same thing can be done for the top 5. All right. Just right click and say group. Make sense? And notice that when you're creating this, do you see a new variable here coming here? Subcategory within bracket, it says group 1. Are you able to understand this? Right? Now what you could do is the subcategory thing, you can just right click and say edit group. You can say edit group. Right? What you could do is you can just highlight a few things and say, put it in. Sorry, what happened? Yes, please. I think we'd group these, right? We're supposed to group this. Okay. Just one and one more here, right? I don't know if I I did it once or twice. I had this 3, 4, 5. This right click and then say group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This I'm right clicking and saying group. Make sense? The remaining middle portion is as it is. This subcategory within which it's showing group, right? Now right click on this and say edit group. These things can also be grouped further. These make sense? Right? You can just say include as other, apply, and then say okay. Right. So particularly if you have too many categories and such things, it's better that you club it and show it as one small. Right. What you could do is there is a variable which is called as product name. Can you see this? You learned how to group. Now you can just right click on this and say create set. Create a set. Basically, the reason being, see, if you're talking about small items, you may have 5,000 or 5,000 or 6,000 items. The end user may not really be interested in all those 5,000. He may be interested in the top performing products, right? Or just as in your case, you may not be interested in each and every employee. You may be interested in those top performing employees who are really doing well and whom you want to retain. See, the organization may have 30,000 employees. You may not be interested in all 30,000. So show me the top performers for the last 1 year. Show me the top 10, right? So if that is the goal, what you can do is, do you see this option top here? Can you see this option top? Click on top, by field. You want the top 10. Show me the top 10 by total sales. Show me the top 10 products. That's what it means, correct? What do you want to create the name as? You see this heading here, name. Just say top 10 selling products and just say okay here. Have you done this? Done? Where has this gone? You created a rule like thing, right? Where has it gone? Any idea? Can you see right here? Right at the bottom, left hand. Right? So now you can just drag and drop this set to filter. You're just showing this as filter, correct? Filter by itself will not show anything. So right click and say show filter. Just observe here, see, you actually have many items here, but because I've created this filter, only the top 10 are being shown here. Are you able to understand this? What we're doing? Is it clear? Is it clear? Right? Okay. Okay, so two of this, what have we created just now? Two workbooks, correct? Very simple. Now you see this option here? All right, click on this, please. Please click on this, and you can say sales by date. Sales by date. Right click and choose copy formatting. You know, what does this copy formatting do? The formatting that you have applied for earlier workbooks will be taken into by default. It should not be that each of these workbooks is in a different format, right? So all the properties from the earlier workbook that you have created, that will be used up here if you say copy formatting, so that we can maintain consistency. Are we clear with this? Right? Now, if in case you want to show something with respect to date and such things, right? So since I've said sales, I'll just again take sales here. Drag and drop it, please. Row would be sales. Along the column, you have an option called as order date, which can be dragged and dropped along the column. Right? Particularly, this is used in case you want to show, let's say, attrition over the last 10 years or something, right? So, right, instead of sales, you'll have the attrition figures. That's it. Date will be as it is and a simple line chart, right? Self-explanatory, right? Now, this is based on what? Year, correct? It's based on years. Right click. Instead of year, can you make it quarter? You can see here, right? Quarter one, quarter it is giving, right? Right? Just, it's very user friendly in that sense. Quarter, month wise. Why not month wise? I've got it month wise. Able to get this? Right click. Day would be too granular, so I'll just right. Month wise also. Are you getting this? Correct? Do you see this option marks here? Everybody? Mark. Right? Now, for some reason, if you feel that line chart is not what you want to show, you can just easily change it to a bar chart. Clear with this? Okay. Of course, all the other things which I said, like changing the color format, whatever you learned earlier, will be applicable here as well. Right? Okay, so this is the third workbook that we have created, right? Let's click on one more, please. Please click on one more, right? Here, we are going to create the fourth workbook, which is called as sales. Or let's say profit analysis, right? See, I have this variable order date, right? Just drag it and drop it along the row. Order date. See, it's just more like it's not showing you anything, right? A, B, C, is say, right? Because you have not supplied any variable as such, correct? So for this, there is profit, which you can drag and drop here. I've just dragged and dropped the variable profit here. Or you could drop it to column, right? See this year instead of year, right? What I'm thinking is, can I make it month wise? It may be better. So order date, show it month wise. Okay. Just let's go to show me and choose this option. So are you getting this basically? Are you getting this distribution? From 2014 January, it's going all the way, correct? All the way till 2017, correct? Make sense? So let me see if I can just swap the rows and columns. Right? Are you getting this? Are you able to get this? Just go to analyze menu. Last option is swap rows and columns. Go to show me. It's coming like this. Now what you can do is go to analyze and say swap rows and columns. This please. ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಮಂತ್ ಓವರ್ ಮಂತ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನಂದು 2014 ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಯರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಬರೀ ಮಂತ್ ಅಂತ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಮಂತ್ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಇವಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಅನಲೈಸ್ ಸ್ವಾಪ್ ರೋಸ್ ಮಂತ್ ವಿತ್ ಇಯರ್. ಹಳೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಂಬೈನ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬರ್ತೈತೆ 3 ವರ್ಷ. Okay, right? Right. So what you could do is you have this variable sales. You can just drag it and drop it here. Just observe this profit and sales. Right. I had profit earlier. I'm just dragging and dropping sales. See, what you need to do is, right click. Just click on this. It's coming out like this. So go to show me. Click on this. Now you can go to analysis. Swap rows and column. Earlier what you had done was you've just given the month, so it is giving the aggregate value of 2014, 2015, 2016. If you say month and year, you'll just split it up. So January for 2014 is giving a separate figure, February for 2014 separate. Right? Are we clear with this? So far? Right? See, how do we get? No, see, this is, if you give it, see, there are 2 months here. This is also a month, this is also a month, but this is a different thing. It will give you like only the month, May month.
That will give the date-wise.
Date-wise, month and year. Okay, are we clear with this, everybody? Is this clear to everybody? Right? See, this is based on the existing field, right? If you want to create a derived field out of this, right? Let's say I want to create a derived field, just go to analyze menu and say create calculated field. Create calculated field. Right? You're getting this? So what I'll do is I'll just create a new field which is called as profit to sales ratio. Profit to sales ratio. Right? This is something like compute variable we did, right? In SPS is the same way, right? Now below, do you see the space? Do you see the space? Just type profit, right? Do you see profit? Divided by sales. Can you do this, please? Profit versus sales. So this is how you can derive a new field which is not existing. You can create your own fields without, the backend data is still preserved, right? It's only on a temporary basis, correct? See, if your calculation is correct, it will just give you a message saying the calculation is valid, right? Click on apply. Okay. That new field which you have created just now would be here, profit sales ratio. Make sense? Profit sales ratio, you can just drag it and drop it here. I have not dropped it at the right place. You can see here, right? Profit sales ratio. Are we clear with this? Right? If you want to study all the three. Now this profit to sales ratio, see it's shown as numbers, correct? I want it to show as percentages. Any idea how to do this? Are you able to understand where we are going? Profit sales ratio, I want it in terms of percentage, correct? So just right click on profit to sales ratio, default properties, number formatting. Default property. See, I'm saying that this is in terms of numbers, correct? You may want, the end user may want to see percentages. Nobody shows numbers. So just go to this variable profit sales, right click, choose the option default properties. The third one is number format. Right. You see this option percentage, correct? You want 2 decimals? Yes. Then say OK. Default properties, number formatting, right click number formatting, percentage, yeah. So I can just click it as percentage. I hope this is done. Right? I hope this is done, everybody. Right? The last 2 types of charts. Yeah. Last 2 types of charts. Right? Just click on this new workbook. For this, you can just say sales versus profit analysis. Sales versus profit analysis, right? So we'll be creating what is called as a dual axis chart. Right? Dual axis, you understand, right? Y and X. If you want to compare in the same, in one glance, you'll be able to do it, right? We all are aware of Y axis and X axis. Why can't I have 2 Y axis? That's the basic goal, right? Now to create this dual axis, right? Just drag and drop this variable sales, right? You can put, better you put this along the row. Order date, you're already familiar with this. Order date. Which you can take along the column. Right, I'm getting a line chart, right? I don't want a line chart. Just go to marks and choose a bar chart. See, now you have this variable profit, correct? You're able to see this? See, just drag this and drop it to the other side of sales. You can just drag it and drop it to the other side of sales. I just picked up profit from here. Just, this is sales, right? On the other side, somewhere here, you should drop it. Right? But it's just showing you this blue color for sales, correct? But this orange color is for profit, but it's not showing for all the others, right? Because the scale is different here. Right? So you can't make a comparison as such, right? So if you want to compare it, just right click on this and choose the option synchronize axis. You're able to understand this? This would be a better comparison because the axis would be almost the same. Right? So dual axis chart, something which you can use particularly if you want to compare more things. Okay. One chart which is called as last chart, which is called as sales motion chart. sales motion chart, right? So particularly if you want to study it, I'll just tell you it's nice. You have this variable profit, correct, along the row. Put this along the row, please. I hope you understood the dual axis, right? I hope you understood. So I didn't. Profit. Column, you can just take order date. Right? Just right click and choose the option month. Make sense? Now, you see this way, there's a variable called as region. Can you locate this variable region? Please drag it and drop it to color. Make sense? Right? Because each of these things you can, right? Now, you have this variable month here. Now look at this order date, right? Please drop it to pages. Please drop it to pages. Can you see this? Right? Right click and choose month here. I've just right clicked and choose month here. Here, pages. Right? Are you able to see the circles? Small dots, circles, right? See, now what you can do is, do you see these options here, right here? There's something called a show history, right? Please click on the drop down menu here. Show history for all. And then here you can just show history for all. Okay, just 1 second. Marks, I could make this circle, right? Just go to, instead of having that dot, I'm just asking you to change it to circle. Make it less, make it slightly bigger, right? That's what I've done. Right? You see this option, show history, all. I can just choose both. Can you choose both here? Here, right hand side corner. Right? See, here you have an option called a show history. Click on the drop down menu. A small option called as, right? See a marks to show history for all, right? You want for each of the four this is circles. So choose the option all. Next, choose the option both. Right? You can just choose the option both. Have you done this? Now you can just play this. Is it playing? I can actually make these you can show the movement of this. I don't know if you missed out something. I've just chosen profit here. Okay. I have chosen order date along the columns. Right. And that has to be based on month. Right. Order, right? Till here we are good, right? Order date is month. Color should be region. Right? Till here we are good. Color is region. Marks is circle. Okay, I have circle. Is there anything else? Okay, here also we are good. Now, pages. Let me just choose order date. I hope this is what you have done. And then month here, right? Okay, show history, all, both. Okay. I don't know, there's some error. Actually, the motion, the job of this, right? When you do this, these circles, you can just show it like a movie. You can show the motion. That's why it's called the sales motion chart. I don't know why isn't it displaying, but the moment you click on this button, it'll usually take you from all the way left. It'll start moving to the right. Right? I don't know if there is. I think our settings are perfect. There's nothing wrong with the settings. Order date. The final thing here would be a simple, like a regression line. How do we get it, right? A simple, like a regression line. You can just say sales versus profit 1. Name this as sales versus profit 1. Right? What you could do is you have profit here, right, along columns, and sales here along rows, right? Profit versus sales, right? You could just drag and drop this product ID here. A simple scatter plot, right? Now, do you see this option analytics here? Right? Just click on analytics. Since we want a reference line, let's draw a reference line. Double click on this. Are you getting this line here, everybody? Like, you can make this like a quadrant here by dragging this line above. Right? It'll appear something like this. So what I'm saying is that you got this scatter plot you did, right? Now, do you see this option reference line? Double click on this reference line. So they'll divide the chart into 4 groups. Right? You'll get this line here, 1 and 1 vertical, 1 horizontal line. Double click on the reference line. What happened?
We get these options.
If you just click on OK, you got, just drag this up, the horizontal line up. Click on it and drag it up. So we're just making it, so it's a bit difficult like this. You see it's going up? Yeah. Like this. Right? So, you can just make something like a quadrant. That's what I'm saying. You can just call this as first, second, third, and fourth quadrant. Are you able to get this? Right? Now what you can do is you can just say a constant line here, right? Forget this constant line for a moment. Too many reference lines here that I've drawn. Right? Draw a reference line, okay. Then you can choose, do you see this option trend line? Click on this trend line, please. Right? This trend line is actually giving you the regression line. Right click and you can just say, describe the trend line. Do you see all your p-value and such things coming up? This is what we can do. Are you clear with this? I hope this is done, everybody. Okay, the last thing is, if you bring the cursor here, you can see something called as a dashboard, right? New dashboard. Are you able to understand this? Right? In this dashboard, everything that you have done so far is highlighted here, correct? Sales by region, if you want, just drag it and drop it here. This is the first chart that we did, right? You remember? Here, bottom corner, if you bring your cursor there, it says new dashboard. Right? Are you getting this? Just drag and drop it here. Now sales by date, see, you can just, wherever it highlights, you can just drag and drop it there. So it will be shown next to it, right? See, sales by date, let me just show it below. Right? Sales versus profit, like this. Right? You're just creating a dashboard of an aggregation of all the charts, that's it. Right? So if you want sales by region, I think we've used it, sales by category if you want, just drag and drop it here. Windows presentation mode. Are you able to see this? Are you able to see this? Maybe we are drawing too many charts, maybe 4 should be fine. Correct? 4 should be fine. Just drag and drop one here. The second one, if you want to next it, if you want to do it next to it, you can do it, or else below it. Are you clear with this? Right? I've tried to, I think, put too many graphs here, so it may not be meaningful here. You can just show 2 or 3 graphs so that the space fits there properly. Do you see the segments here? Right? This option will be available to the end user as well. Yeah, you can do it. See, when you see, if you can see this option, there's a small triangle, right? Small triangle here. See, this is what we'll be sharing with the client. The final thing, this is what we'll be sharing with the client as a dashboard, right? One thing that we have to keep in our mind is that, see, in this Windows option, you will be given, see, since we're using a public version, we don't have that option, right? There's an option called as hosted to server. After you create the dashboard in this Windows, it's not here right now. Here somewhere you'll have this option which is called as hosted to server, right? Right? We don't have that option. Once you click on that option, hosted to server, you'll go to the server and it will be made publicly available. If you're using a Tableau, server, again, authentication will be asked. Your username, credentials, password can be provided, and only a shared group of people will be able to access it. Prepare a dashboard like this, it's a group of charts, and then just send it. What we do. You clear with this? Any questions for me? pretty simple, this one. It's not that hard. I mean, some of these things, graphs, if you want to do for your project, you can just come to Tableau and like a scatter plot and then use the trend line, construct the equation. That itself could be one slide, right? Should we take a break?